Right, I'm just going to bio, and then we will we'll start. Bear with me for 2 minutes. 1 minute. 1 minute. Now. Oh god. Oh god. It's computers. Models everywhere. Oh god. Oh, I need to actually install that other hardware key. Oh! Oh, let's just start, shall we? Let's turn the music down a bit. Something like that. And then we'll click on chat. Oh, the top of my head's gone. No, this. Oh, oh, look how shiny I am. Why am I so shiny again? I just got the shiniest head known to man. Why? Why, shiny head? Why? Even turn down the. Oh. Who knows? Am I? Oh no, that's no. We'll just have to go with that. Oh no, that's behind the wizard's curtain. Do that. Oh, there we go. That'll be fine. That'll be good. That'll be great. Let's turn the music up slightly so it's partly audible, although it might go too loud during. So there's some stuff I want to talk about today, at least in a bit. Which is some of the aliens they showed off in the Inside Star Citizen. Later on today, we have the narrative team talking about alien stuff and Alien Week as well. Alien Week starts today from CIG, from Star Citizen. And we are not entirely sure what Alien Week is, but I think other people will join me in suspecting that it is a week where they will sell alien ships. And there might be some other cool little things to do as well. Probably some competitions, like a video competition of the best thing you can do in an alien ship, and maybe some pro-alien propaganda, things like that. Also, could we get an in-game event as well with Alien Week? It's possible. There were the Xenothreat leaks a while ago, which is the sort of like anti-alien group from Pyro that have Idris and big fleets that fly around, sort of like locking down areas in a similar way to the Fleet Week UE Navy fleet, sort of like moved around. And is it possible that we'll see them during Alien Week? Yeah, but I mean, it's just very much an I reckon, it's a maybe sort of thing. That is so not confirmed, and I haven't even heard rumours of that. It was just my wild speculation, so bear that in mind. But there's some cool alien stuff that's been shown off recently. It does look like they are moving towards putting alien creatures in game actually sooner than I expected, because we don't really have any of the alien races in game. We don't have Tavaran or Vandal or anything running around, although the Vandal are pretty well developed now for Squadron 42's needs. But question in brackets if you'd like to ask a question. Have you seen anything about the leaked new mining vehicle? Yeah, so I've only seen what Star Citizen leaks have put out about it and what they talked about. Aaron Huck, thank you very much for the 7 months of board goodness. Thank you very much for subbing. Very much appreciate, mate. Oh, you little resubber, you. Star. But the leaked mining vehicle, so this is what Star Citizen Leaks talked about, potentially based on, well, almost certainly based on the CitizenCon 2019 vehicle that they were talking about originally, a mining vehicle that's going to be on the ground that they were developing. And they say it's going to be this, Star Citizen Leaks say it's going to be the Greycat Industrial Rock, the Grin Rock. We don't know what ROC stands for yet, ROC. So some form of ground mining little buggy. Menon, thank you very much. Menon321, appreciated for the sub. Very much appreciated. People want to go the extra mile to support the channel, you are more than welcome to by joining or donating or whatever. It is not essential for the channel to continue receiving donations and that to exist, but it is appreciated. It will allow me to do some silly things. Donations at the moment are going into building a 40k army. So I, whenever people receive donations, I always like to put up what they're for currently, or what my sort of like mindset for donations is. At the moment, donations are going towards me building a 40k army, so when after lockdown is finished, I'm planning to go up to Manchester by the Foundry 40k studio, Foundry 42 studios, 40k studios, 42 studios, and play people like John Crew and some of the Foundry 42 staff at 40k. I've sort of like been having some Twitter correspondence with them, and they had apparently been talking about potentially doing a back of the dev sort of tournament or some games in the future with 40k. I was like, oh my god, that sounds amazing, because I haven't played 40k for a while. I played a bit of Adaptus Titanicus, but I used to paint semi-professionally. I used to go to tournaments regularly, and I've built some. I'm building a knight army, some Adaptus Mechanicus knights. So at the moment, sort of not going to see a giant units of people with pew-pews on horseback, all based on the new Raiders from. It's not the best camera for focusing on models, but set something up, because occasionally I'll certainly be taking photos and putting them on my social media and Instagram, stuff like that, of the army as it develops. And when I go up and actually play some games, see if it's suitable for filming. If not, then I'll just take pictures. I don't want to. I want to go up and enjoy it and play games rather than go. Oh, this is always about full-on content for me. Like, I don't have to make everything into video content for the monies. Do you know what I mean? But I do like the money. Yeah. So that's one of the things I'm doing at the moment. Over the next couple of weeks, I'm going to get all my Adaptus Titanicus stuff painted, all my little mechy boys. All my Reaver Titans. Oh, I appreciate all the love. Thank you so much. So, at the moment, videos... I'm getting ready for 3.10's launch. So 3.10 does look to be going to Eva Carty, in my opinion, this weekend. That's what it looks like. I've had some rumours from some people I know that they're ready for it, or at least they're trying to get ready for it for this weekend. So we'll see if that's going to be a thing. It might not be ready, but I would expect it at the moment to be an Eva Carty build for this weekend, and then potentially wider PTU within the next 2 weeks, and then I think they are still aiming for a launch of 3.10 by the end of June, which would be absolutely fantastic, because I'm hoping that we have much more stability with that patch. There's quite a lot of features with that as well, but it's the most exciting, I think, thing for me is the potential for ship combat and the updates they've got to the flight model. They could bring the game back in line with something that's fun PvP, that's competitive, actually. Like, there are so many problems with the flight model and the combat model and balance and stuff like that if you want to do dogfighting, if you want to do it competitively and stuff like that. And I think that you sort of need the core of that working in-game for the game to then get a base of other features being built upon that. Now, obviously, that's hard at the moment as well, because they haven't got all the features they need to have all those mechanics in properly, like with physicalized components and things like that, which are being built out at the moment, and even network code and all that sort of stuff is being built out, but it's not ready yet. It's in early implementations, it's in early stages. Some of it's totally broken, some of it's sort of amazingly pretty, some of it works good or okay, but there's lots of other problems that sort of like contributes to these server crashes and these disconnects and rubber banding and just a bad feel for the combat experience, especially when it's PvP. And you need that PvP experience, in my opinion. I want to be able to play. I want to play Arena Commander and go, oh, I want to try this build out because I want to see if it's competitive. Not, this is just the meta and all my guns auto aim and it's a bit janky. Do you see what I mean? So there needs to be a lot of work there, and they are working towards it. Just I'm hoping that 3.10 is a bit better for that. So yeah, for Alien Week that starts today, later today, we are not sure what that is actually going to bring. There is the hope and the expectation that there's going to be an alien ship sale for pretty much all the alien ships, like the Bounty Defender and the Bounty Merchantman and all that sort of jazz, because it makes sense because those alien ships were missing from Fleet Week. Oh, Harry Johnson, thank you so much. I've seen your comments turn up a lot as well in my videos recently. Thank you very much for the monies. In the future, will we see capital class Banu ships or Vandal that we could own or run? So, capital class Banu ship, would you say the Banu Merchantman is a capital class? It depends on your definition of capital. It's a big ship. So, Banu don't have ships of war. I don't think they're sort of like in their lore, or at least they didn't used to. They sort of like all their ships can be brought to war if necessary, even their merchant ships. That's sort of the way I understood it. Could we run and own giant ships from other races? It's a possibility. And that's all I can really say at the moment. I know they are going to be planning to build these big ships for the other races that we will see. And I would expect in the far future, definitely, or almost definitely, they will be able to have those alien ships. Obviously, we don't have the giant Idris or Javelin in players' hands yet, even. But I do think in the future they'll probably even one day go, yeah, players can own a king ship if they can capture it and re-outfit it. Like, I'm talking years in the future, when they go, well, what else can we add? Well, let's make all these alien capital ships playable by humans. That's the sort of thing I expect that the game will push into. I love 40k. I would recommend that you get a 3D printer and print your own stuff. It will save you a lot of money. Well, it's interesting that you say that, because I do have I had a Mars Elegoo 3D printer, but I don't have room for it in my house at the moment, so I've sent it to my mate Zen, who I'm going to get, because he's good with Splicer and he's good with 3D modelling. I'm going to get him to print me occasional 3D resin prints of probably, it's almost certainly going to be bits and arms and weapons mods and stuff like that for 40k models. Yes, I suspect it will save me a lot of money as well. I do occasionally shop on AliExpress and things like that as well. What? Love my 3D printer got held by my auto mod because it contains some. I think it implied that you were making sweet love with your 3D printer there, bearded miner. My auto mod didn't like that. How weird. I need to change its sensitivity, I think. I agree from my understanding. Banu ships focus on trade for the most part and putting high quality components on them for protection and defense. Hence the big guns on the Banu Merchantman. Yes, indeed. I play NIDS. So so I think in the future we'll do some 40k stuff on probably on stream or on the second channel or something. And certainly on social media, on those sort of stuff, because it does seem to be popular among Star Citizens and a lot of my channel viewers, but I don't want to force 40k and models and that sort of game on people that are not here for that ever. Like, if you're just there for Star Citizen, I'm going to make sure the core and the main channel always remains 99% Star Citizen. So I don't want to saturate it with anything else, really. And if that changes in the future for some reason, I'll talk about it. Like, BoredGamer probably will do board games at some point in the future, but again, that's not going to be a huge portion of the channel, or if it is, it'll be on a different channel, a second channel. That Carrack looks weird because it's the old Carrack. It's the Carrack from 2019 CitizenCon, before it was fully finished. Yo, just have to say that your videos help me out there, Bored. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. Appreciate the love. There was a... so should I bring this Reddit post up? So So I thought about being a mixture of sassy and informative now. I've been talking to Subliminal recently, actually. I want to try and get him a bit more love. Should we bring this up? So we've got a Reddit post that was YouTube streamer BoredGamer. You put BoredGamer together. That's how you do my brand. This is not having a dig at the guy. This is purely an opinion. I recently watched an old video by BoredGamer walking around the Reclaimer and enjoyed it a lot. And I watched a few recent posts and wondered when he started commenting where his pitch was like a trombone. Brr, brr, brr. Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. So when I do stuff live, I talk like I do now. When I talk from a script or from an informative point of view, I actually talk differently, and there's a reason for that. Archeon, thank you very much for the subprime. Very much appreciated. You star. So, you guys understand, I don't think this was even a concern post. I thought, is this a concern post? Someone trying to, be annoying? Not. Hello and welcome to some more videos on Star Citizen. That's not what I say. Today we'll be looking at the Mercury Star Runner and what it represents in the universe. When did that happen? Has it become a style or a way to differentiate him from others? I like the content and wondered if it's a recent thing. But basically, I just replied. I started doing it in the hopes that some people would post more about me on Reddit. But then I actually explained what I did because I thought people would think I was just trolling, even though I was there. So I learned a lot of stuff when I was younger on NLP and body language and how to talk to people and how to sort of communicate with them with the way you say things, what you look at, how they're talking and stuff like that. And one of the techniques they taught was how to sort of talk to continue a conversation so that they don't reply, or it's to inform someone else, or so that they understand and you can see understanding in their face. And it's sort of like it prevents people from jumping in to say a point as well, the way you pause with the word and the way you say the word. So I just learned to speak like that when I was doing informative things, like my news stuff. So sometimes you'll hear me rant about something, or sometimes you'll hear me hype about something that is totally just sort of like me talking and being interested in something, which is different from when I'm trying to put a point across in news or a script. I thought that was slightly interesting. Yeah. Hawk! Thank you very much for the bits. And Grieve. That's what your name is now. Thank you very much for the sub. Very much appreciated. Why have people got such weird names? Don't know how you say those names. Have phonetic names or numbers. 3, 2, 1. Bam! Thanks. What do we got here? I'm hoping we get a load more Star Citizen content creators over the next few quarters coming along. I think we'll get some bigger YouTubers starting to do Star Citizen content as well more regularly. I have been losing a bit of weight. I've been eating reasonably healthily, although sometimes I have proper binge days. And I've got a running machine that I've been a treadmill that is behind my green screen that I use every day. I've been indeed trying to lose some weight. I thought about even doing keto because I love eating. I want to eat all the time if possible, but I can't. Well, I can, but I won't live very long. Which new ships will come in 3.10, and will there be new alien ships? So 3.10, the only ships we know about that are new are the M50 updates. So they're updating the M50, not really a new ship, but it's an update to it. And the P-72 Emerald skin for the P-72 Archimedes. So no new ships listed on the roadmap at the moment, but it's very possible that we'll have a straight-to-flyable or drivable ship or vehicle or vehicles. Star Citizen Leaks suggested that I think they said the Grey Cat Rock Miner might be in for 3.10, but there could be some other stuff. Is it possible that we'll see a new straight-to-flyable alien ship? It's possible, but because we know they've sort of like talked about working on a Tavaran fighter and a Xi'an cargo ship. We've got Alien Week coming up, starting later today. So yeah, I mean, it's a possibility, but I would expect to see something beyond just the P-72 Archimedes skin and the M50 updates. Yeah. What time is Alien Week supposed to start? Do we know? We don't know. I would expect it to start between 6 p.m. UTC to maybe 8 or 9 p.m. UTC. Sort of like around that window, because they've got the inside the Star Citizen Live, the start of Alien Week, starting at 5 p.m. UTC, and I suspect that it will start properly once that's finished, an hour later. So Star Citizen Live in a couple of hours. They're going to be talking about aliens. They're going to have the narrative team there with Sherry Heiberg, the archivist, and Will Weisbaum, and Dave Haddock, and all those sort of people. So it should actually be a pretty good episode, to be honest. But also we'll find out a bit more what Alien Week's about. We know it's First Contact Day today. Yeah, expect there's going to be alien ship sales. I mean, why wouldn't CIG have an alien ship sale? Oh, sorry, mate. My neck and back are not great at the moment. Is there any alien ship that you would recommend to buy? P.S. I love your content and appreciate what you're doing. If you can get... Well, I mean... An alien ship that you can buy, a recommended one. It depends what you want. I mean, I wouldn't recommend an alien ship just because it's alien for any reason. Alien ships have alien tax on if you're buying them. So basically they're more expensive because they're more rare is the idea. But they are quite considerably more expensive than ships that are potentially comparable to them. The Banning Merchantman at last point that went on sale was, what, $350? That ship's going to go up by a huge amount. I expect it to be at least between 600 and 800 at least when it's finally flyable. We'll have to wait and see if they do change those things. But I wouldn't recommend any alien ships specifically at the moment. I love the Banning Merchantman though. Just because their alien nature makes them expensive, it seems. Can we get aliens, Sig, please? So they did show off some aliens in the recent... so we got some sort of like old sketches of aliens here when they were sort of like looking at Boids, the Oni crabs. They're looking at like bear-type creatures. They're looking at space cows and looking at some other like predators and things that you might see around. And then they sort of like further developed a space cow. Oh, look, a little space cow. And they're like, oh, let's make some apex predators, like one like a gorilla, one like a crocodile. And then we've got obviously the space cow. Now, the space cow is going to be developed, and we think it may well be one of the first proper animals that we have in game of a reasonable size. They're going to sort of like be common around the UEE because they sort of like seed their planets with them. But what? They talked about alien predators that they've been working on. So we saw this terrifying beast that's going to be in the in Pyro, literally a giant doom crab. This is like a queen crab that's going to be the Pyro crab, going to be stomping around, and it's got to have bioluminescence, and it's going to be pretty dangerous. You might think it's like a big pile of rocks, but no, it's a big alien crab queen with lots of little guardian crabs running around it, nomming you up. So these are terrifying. I'm really looking forward to when we have these in Pyro. The sort of thing they're developing. It might change a bit from this design, obviously. They also showed what they want on Microtech. Now, I actually suspect we'll see this in the not-too-distant future. Obviously a bit more developed than this, a bit changed. But they basically wanted a bear Yeti-type creature on Microtech that might have been slightly genetically modified. I mean, maybe these have been modified from space cows. But I really like the idea of a terrifying giant Yeti creature, or lots of them running around Microtech and big game hunting and that sort of stuff. And I'm really happy that they are starting to build those creatures out now. Yeah, I think that's quite exciting. Why is the Banning Merchantman looking so good but so cheap at the same time? It's because it's based on its old price. So at the moment, Banning Merchantman is, or at least was, based on its old price. It could go up if there is a sale. Let's bring this up, actually. Let's bring up what I mean. Pledge, ship upgrades. All ships. Banu. So, Banu Merchantman was last on sale for $350. And it is a huge ship, but it's basically the old price for it. So it's one of the older ships, and because of that, it's got a cheaper price tag for the sort of size of it. So cheaper. I mean, you better get these in game, so bear that in mind. But the reason it's cheaper is because it's older. But I think they're working on they're going to be working on the Polaris, and then the Banu Merchantman is what it looks like. What's your favourite alien race? Humans. And then probably the Banu after that, just for their behaviours. Like I'm a bit of a merchant and an industrialist by heart as well. Oh, thank you so much, people chucking money at me. DJ Brown, oh, it's a regular occurrence. You giving me lots of money during a stream. It is appreciated, but not necessary. But it is appreciated. Hi, Bored. It's me again. Do you think we'll be able to get guard dogs that will stay at our side and defend us, or attack someone if we tell it to? So they did want to have pets as a thing in game. That's one of the original stretch goals, or one of the funding website stretch goals. I think that it's not beyond the scope of what they've got planned. I do think that the pets or animals that are with you or things like that might be a possibility, but they haven't really talked about, are you going to be able to have this sort of stuff in game? So we don't know for sure. It's certainly possible. It's certainly something that they probably haven't decided on yet even. They'll go, well, maybe we'll see where the AI goes, is probably their current thoughts. Hello, BoredGamer. I really want to know about the C2 Hercules. When the C2 becomes flyable, will the M2 and A2 owners get the Gemini Starfarer replaced with the C2? Almost certainly, yes. That's what CIG should do, as long as they remember to update it, yes. The C2 should be flyable Q4 2020 at the current guesstimate. The current, what CIG last said suggests that that's what they're aiming for. We won't know until it's on the roadmap, and stuff could move off even, but that's where it looks like it's aimed for at the moment. Thank you very much, Stingray Spectre, for that money. You don't need to send me money to ask questions. However, it means I read them immediately because they pop up on my screen and I don't want to forget. But I will try and get to your questions in due course. There's a load on my screen and I go down and I'm always a good few minutes behind. So bear that in mind. Feel free to re-ask your question, but make sure you wait quite a while to re-ask it, because otherwise, by the time I get to where your question was to start with, I'll read it out and everything, and then I'll see your question like 20 times, and I'll be like, oh, for fuck's sake. What will the crime stat be for releasing predators into landing zones? I want to plan ahead. Oh, that's an interesting one. So I suspect that a lot of alien animals will require bespoke atmospheres to stay alive. So maybe if you release them into like a civilian zone, they will suffocate pretty quickly or something. It'd be interesting to see if you can do that. That is very silly, very cool, but very silly. I suspect just the carrying of dangerous animals in certain areas will be illegal, and a confiscatable crime. Because I'm hoping that we have capturable alien animals and big game hunting. Like that's something I'm really interested in. What do you think of the creature concept seen yesterday? Any favourites? I like all the creatures they're making. Like, I mean, at the moment, the space cow is probably my favourite. I just like the space cow. I think it's cool. it's just a bit silly. It's the one that's the most developed and actually has like more of a model for. The others are just concepts. Maybe we should try and fund a donation goal of next time I go to a Citizen Con or something, I dress up as a space cow. That'll be good, wouldn't it? That'll make money. Tony Morrow, hi, loving your content. We should have a beer when it's all calmed down. Yes, Tony, mate. It's good to hear from you again as well, buddy. Hope you're doing well. Oh, good man. You don't need to give me money. Well, I'll make sure I use that towards the drinks. Hopefully in a few weeks' time we'll be able to do something like that, mate. It'll be good laugh. Are we going to be able to make bets at Grimhex in 3.10? We don't know. So It will have the functionality for betting eventually. We're not sure if the racing or the betting is going to be in for 3.10. So Grimhex is getting some expansions to make it into a more viable sort of like landing zone. So that if you are an outlaw or lawless or just want to live there or be there, you can, by having larger ships and hangars, internal hangars and stuff like that for them. And generally sort of like opening it up so it's got more facilities. It just sort of makes sense. Do you think we'll be allowed to salvage item materials from a creature, be it food or for trading? Eventually, almost certainly. I suspect that will almost certainly be part of it. Like, people like loot. People like salvaging. 40k grunt on me. Thanks for the vids. Thank you very much. Sethy, I'll name one after you. Oh, maybe we should do that. I'll have that as a thing in the future. I'll have some little spods. You can get the little nameplates. I'll name some little spods after people. But yes, I almost certainly suspect that hunting down creatures for materials will be a thing. Any idea whether or not the mining vehicle Gaycat Rock will fit inside a Cutlass Black base or freelancer? No, so there's not a confirmation on its size yet, for sure. But I would expect it to fit in a Cutlass Black. I'd expect it to be a smaller than the. I'd expect it to fit any. I suspect it to be a bit bigger than the Grey Cat Golf Buggy. Yeah. But I wouldn't expect it to be huge or anything. I would almost certainly expect it to fit in a Cutlass Black even. Based on the stuff that we saw from Star Citizen leaks anyway. I mean, if CIG are making something a bit bigger, then expect it to be more sort of like Tumble Cyclone size. Do you think they will focus or should focus on more fundamental gameplay mechanics rather than adding more things? They can do both at the same time. They're not mutually exclusive. I think that I would have preferred the Elite Dangerous style of doing the game, which would have been do the core of the game first and then build lots and lots and lots and lots of modules onto it, including planetary landing and stuff later. But that's for me wanting to have a more polished game at this stage. I really enjoy the project. I really enjoy the way they're doing it. It's just, I think there are potentially better ways they could have done it. But this, you can't argue that this is very pretty, very cool idea. They've got all the money in the world to be able to do it as well. So there's certainly a thirst for it. Would you take offense if I named the first Narwhal Space Whale BoredGamer? No. That's fine. I mean, little potato Pepe boy. How customizable is your ship in Star Citizen so far? So, you can change the skin on it if the skins are available. If you go to the 300 series, very customizable. Other ships, not so customizable. So, all ships can have their components and weapons changed. Some ships can have their skins changed. And the 300 series gets a lot of customization. So, in the future, you will have a load of customization for all these ships. But at the moment, not a huge amount. Let me show you the 300 series customization. View buying options, customize. So, for example, the 300 series at the moment can be customized on the website when you buy them. So they're not available in game to customize like this, but they will be. And then all ships will be, and then all ships will then have aftermarket customization as well, so you can go a bit more wild with the customization and the decals and the names on the ships and stuff. But you can sort of like change your colour of your 300 series, whatever it is. You can see it costs small little increments as well of money, but you can also change the internals, sort of like the dashboard colours. You can change the steering wheel. You can change the chairs. There's a load of customization you can do. And they're going to be adding more and more. Your bed sheets, the actual gear and weapons that you can get on it, and then you can sort of like add food makers and coffee machine and all this sort of stuff, silly things. So there's quite a lot of customization with the 300 series, and there's going to be a huge amount of customization with the ships in the future, and modular changes to each of the to some of the bays and areas as well. But it's limited at the moment. When does Alien Week start? I would expect Alien Week to start between 6 PM UTC and 8 or 9 PM UTC. Today, that would be my expectation, because of the Star Citizen Live that's starting at 6 PM UTC. Maybe after it, but maybe at the same time. Whatever. What else we got here? Is Alien Week just another sale or anything happen in the game? We don't know. We don't know if it's either of that. It could just be an entirely in-lore thing. Unlikely, though, to call it Alien Week. It's very likely to be at least a sale, and there could be some in-game event stuff. I think that I mean, it's a speculation, hope, dream, but I'd love it if a Xenothreat turned up with a fleet of ships just attacking random sort of areas in the game. So the leaks show that eventually there's going to be this Pyro pirate fleet, Xenothreat coming out of Pyro, and just zooming around and causing havoc and saying, humans first, sort of thing. And then there'll be sort of missions to, like, public missions to go and deal with them. The civil defense force and stuff. Will we see new models for the Scythe and Glaive as part of Alien Week? It would be amazing if they updated them then. At some point, you'll see the updates to the Scythe and Glaive that we saw from the Squadron 42 visual update, visual teaser, but I don't know when. Any news about the small Xi'an cargo ship? No more news about it. There's a Tavaran fighter and there's a Xi'an cargo ship they've talked about. I'd like to see lots of other alien ships and vehicles as well. Alien vehicles, like purely alien vehicles would be cool. But we don't know when. Could we see them during Alien Week or bits of them during Alien Week? Yeah, of course. Any news on when 9.10 will be here? What? What impact has the lockdown had on development? So, huge amount of the studios are now working from home and remotely. So, they've had to change the way they do a lot of stuff. Obviously, previously they would have had people downloading these huge builds internally every day of changed builds and sort of like development streams. They can't do that so much from home, so they've had to develop new techniques and new ways of doing things, working remotely. So some of that's going to definitely have taken some time and gearing, so there's certainly going to be some time lost because of that. Could the new setup be more efficient for some people? Yes. Potentially, it could save CIG a lot of money in the future and make some people more efficient in the future, because people can work from home and they go, actually, some people work more efficiently at home, and then we don't need to keep on increasing studio sizes and things like that. So I think that there's a lot of benefits for business that can be foreseen now. Like the old way of thinking that you have to come in for work, I hope we can get past that, and some people that are more efficient from working from home, it gives them at least more flexibility to work from home. So there's definitely been some stuff like that. But I don't actually think that Cloud Imperium and computer games as an industry have been hugely hit by the lockdown. I think that they're one of the industries that's pretty robust against it, because they can largely, some of them, work from home. What's the best way to start getting good, lol? I got a new PC that can actually run this game. Just mess around in the Persistent Universe at the moment. When 3.10 comes out, I recommend that you play a load of Arena Commander, watch some other people doing some like meta videos and how to fly videos and some of that combat stuff. People from like Renegade Squadron and stuff like that are going to do sort of like, this is how to fly well. Watch streamers like Moist Noodle and stuff that they'll talk about the meta and stuff like that in a way that's understandable for newbies and people that are reasonably good. Sort of like get involved with that. Play lots of Arena Commander to get good at PvP and understand the meta. That's my recommendation if you're going for that sort of thing. But just the more you play Star Citizen, the better you get off flying and understanding the game anyway. What do you plan on doing with alien creatures when they're released? Hunt them. Hunt them, track them, videos on that, like that sort of stuff. What else have we got here? Hey Nordgamer, what's your stance on all the drama lately? What drama are you specifically talking about? If it's, I mean, there's a lot of drama over lots of stuff. There's YouTube drama, there's political drama, there's lockdown drama. There's Star Citizen drama. If it's Star Citizen drama related, I'll try and wade in and get involved, at least cover it. If it's any form of other drama, I sort of like avoid it on my channel. People come here to watch stuff about Star Citizen and occasionally talk about me. On my channel or YouTube or whatever, or mental health or whatever, and I'm all cool about talking about that to some extent. I don't want to saturate the channel with stuff that it wasn't intended for, and I don't think my voice is particularly useful in certain situations, especially when it comes to political affiliation and stuff that I think people should research for themselves, because my points of view on that might not be right for someone else. Like, there are reasons that people have these sort of different affiliations, and I'd like to understand those reasons, but I'm not going to shame people for them or tell them what's right and wrong. I'm not a moral arbiter, and what's morally right for me is not necessarily going to be morally right for you. I'm pretty reasonable and understanding, and I think I'm a relatively good human being, but I rather understand people than tell them what they should understand. Do you know what I mean? Like, I love people. I like understanding people. Chances of a sale today, very high. Have they fixed the trade terminals? The other day, commodities would not show up. When was the last time I did? The only thing I've been doing recently is combat stuff. I'm mining. I was able to sell stuff on mining. I haven't done trading for a couple of weeks now. So, Ted, over the last few days, they've been doing some updates to the back-end services and some maintenance and stuff. So that could be one of the causes why that's happened. Should all be solved now. So all be solved. That maintenance should have ended now. Hey Void, have you seen any rumours or heard any news about when the Apollo might show up? No. Nothing about the Apollo. Expect to see medical mechanics start to bleed into the next few patches with body tracking and stuns and getting people back up sort of thing. But I don't have any clue when the Apollo's coming out yet, or if it's even... I don't think it's being worked on at the moment. I don't think it's in active development. Do you think alien tax has gone away because recent alien ships have been rather cheap? Yeah, I think it's changed. So some of the original alien tax was on rare alien ships like the Scythe and the Glaive and stuff. So alien tax may have gone away because it's less alien tax now, and it's more sort of like, well, we want some of these fighters to be a bit more mainstream because they're being sold to the human sort of crowd as a more mainstream fighter alternative. So some of the alien tax has certainly gone, but I still sort of see it, even if it's just like 10% more than I feel it should be. You thought the Prowler was cheap? No, indeed, the Prowler was pretty expensive. Is there an alien ship to replace the Cutlass with? Not yet, no. But it would like to actually see a couple of alien ship manufacturers starting to compete with that sort of those human ships. Since credit persistence is in right now, yeah, for the most part. I mean, obviously they reserve the right to delete or format or remove or reset those databases for ships and money progress whenever they want, and sometimes there's bugs as well which cause terrible problems. Do you know if they plan to wipe credits before the live release? I don't know if 3.10 is getting a wipe yet. I'd hope not. I don't think there's a planned wipe for 3.10, but we don't know really until it's in our hands. So no planned wipe as far as I'm aware yet. Anyone know if there's a proper place to get some Star Citizen music? Chiff Monkey on YouTube. Go to Chiff Monkey. He grabs, data mines, and otherwise gets. There you go. There's his channel. Star Citizen music and Squadron 42 music from the composers Darren Lamborn, Pedro Camacho, and Jefferson Ali. Good job, Joke Monkey, as well. Like, I salute you, sir. Bear with me 1 second. I'm just going to go have a real quick bio. Hello. Hi. Yes, I did wash my hands, sort of, you know. Peed on them, is what I mean, and rubbed them together. The only sterile environment I have now. What else have we got here? Do you think we will see a change to the bounty hunter beacons in the near future? Maybe adding steps or making it not fly directly to the bounty? Yes, so they want to have bounties a little bit more in depth. There are going to be bounty hunter improvements coming to the game at some point, and bounty hunter armors and clothing. Don't know when that is. They wanted that earlier this year. Hopefully by the end of the year we'll have some bounty hunter updates and some more dynamic, sort of like interesting, find these bounties, go to this sort of area, find out who's who sort of thing, rather than just bounty kill, ha, bounty kill. Have you read the lore in its entirety? No, the lore is my weakest part of my Star Citizen knowledge, but I do watch people like the Astropub and stuff like that to understand knowledge. I've read all of the lore up from modern day IRL sort of time to the Star Citizen Squadron 42 start. I know all of that. And then some of the other lore, the more modern, the lore in the last 5 years of the game, that's happened in the last 5 years, like real time, I am less clear on. Will we ever see a episode of you cooking board? Yes, I will do some. I'm planning to do some Star Citizen food. Used to be a chef. I'm reasonably good with food. I'll be able to do followable, repeatable recipes and that sort of stuff. I'm going to talk to Zin about it as well. She's a bit of a foodie too. What are your thoughts on the look of the space cow? I like the space cow. Lots of little cowy bits. Has there been any talk about ships with weapons powered off as the norm, so that when scanning gets a second pass, it can tell you if someone has powered weapons or not? Oh, I suspect that will be. I suspect that will be a thing that scanners will tell you what systems are powered. Because physicalized components and stuff makes that power possible as well with the resource system that they've been building for power and other things. Hanathcom, thank you so much for the sub. Very much appreciated, sir. Oh, you legend. 35 months. Ugh. Sorry that I've been... I don't even know how long I've been on streaming for. That's monstrous. Do you know how in-depth the M50 update is? So originally I thought it was just going to be some light updates, some material updates, and some like updates to the cockpit and landing gear compression. But I think it might be a bit more in-depth now, bringing it in line with the 300 and Origin series. So... Are jump points coming in 3.10? No. If not, when? possible by the end of this year, although what we knew about the Pyro system being added in jump points was that it was planned for the end of this year before the lockdown took place. So, not what's going to happen before the lockdown. It was before the lockdown that information was given. So, that might have changed. Does your org already have an emblem or design signs and trademarked? So, Nomad Black is a little star that we use, but that can be changed. I mean, we haven't nailed down all the Nomad Black stuff, and that's something we're going to be using in the future when the games are a bit more developed. The BoredGamer org obviously uses the little BoredGamer face. I might actually set up a proper org at some point for other purposes. Some people have said you should do newscasting, like a news and reporter group in game. I actually probably quite like that idea. But I want to get involved with Star Citizen at sort of every level and try every mechanic and be able to create content on every mechanic or know someone that is creating content. I think that's sort of sensible to do. Hey, what would you say is the best fighter regardless of class? I've been told the Saber. The F8 Lightning. Probably pretty high on the tier. We don't know how they're going to compare until they are properly balanced, though. I love the Saber, but there's problems with shield holes and balance on the ships at the moment, so it changes based on bugs. I do like the Saber. If you watch Star Citizen Leaks, is it just me, or did the special guest sound like Jared using a cheap voice changer? Nah, it didn't sound like Jared. No. That was Hater, I think. Do you think they would cut the Banner Merchant and cargo in half and then double the price? So if the main cargo area shrinks, it's only because the size of the ship's probably increased. It's only because the way that cargo, the way the sizings worked has changed. So it's based on old metrics, the current size of its cargo bay or whatever. Also, it's going to have shops on board as well. So you add all the cargo up, I suspect it's going to be more than fit for purpose. Brick on a string. The auto mod's just got your message saved on my screen saying, "Shall I allow this?" Just one word. Oh. Fucking hell. Do you think Star Citizen will have as many alien ships as human ships? No, I think it... Okay, so even though there's lots of different alien races, I think there's still going to be more human ships overall. Just sort of like the way that they've marketed it. Maybe in the future there'll be like a comparable amount. Yeah, I'm hoping that after 3.10's deployment that we have a bit more stability when it comes to servers and that sort of stuff, and being able to log on and things. They've got a bit more back-end service redundancy now. They've been doing some updates to their back-end services and the servers and stuff.
Cheers from Canada with an upgrade from an arrow to a cutlass worth it. For PvP bounty missions.
Thank you very much, Venom Sting, for that donation. Very much appreciated. How's it going? Cheers from Canada. Would an upgrade from an arrow to a cutlass be worth it for PvP bounty missions? I rate at the moment the arrow over the cutlass for specifically just taking out PvP bounty ships. PvP, yeah, I'd rate the arrow more and get good with the arrow. I feel that the cutlass is a bit sort of paper thin for what it should be at the moment, and that could and almost certainly will change in the future though. Will they sell the Scythe and the Glaive? We don't know exactly what alien ships they'd sell if there's going to be an alien ship sale. If they sell the Scythe, expect it to be in very limited quantity. If xenomorphs are introduced, and there's obviously going to be aliens, and they're obviously been influenced by Alien and a lot of their stuff, like the Reclaimer, very, very influenced by Alien. Do you think we'll see a repeat of the 2005 WoW virus invasion with chest bursters? So, wasn't that where there was the accidental raid buff, raid debuff, that when people went back to town, they'd spread the virus to NPCs, which were then effectively invincible, and or maybe they weren't invincible actually, but they'd survive for a long time, and everyone would just keep on getting it and propagating it and spreading it more and more and more and more. And they had to let everyone die to stop that plague in WoW. I don't think we'll see... we'll probably see viruses and silly things like that, outbreaks, at least in missions and in lore. I do think that xenomorphs will probably be a thing, in the fact that there probably will be scary experiences on derelicts in the future where there might be an apex predator or terrifying creature on board. That's the sort of missions that they sort of like get influenced by. How long do you think it'll be before they implement the Kraken? The Kraken's big. That's the main problem with the Kraken, and it requires a working repair, refuel, and rearm pad. So it's basically a space station. When they get round to it, end of next year, sort of earliest. If you get the debuff on your pet, you could dismiss it and then summon it and put plague towns. Yes, indeed, that's one of the things that happened, wasn't it? If the community buys you a Reliant Mako, would you fly it around and use it like an user? I think I probably have a Reliant Mako already. Skylark, if you want to give me money from Reliant Mako, feel free. I will be doing stuff like that, whether or not the community buys me one. So appreciated. Even though I hate the Reliant, I want those news van mechanics. Or assuming they're appropriate for what I want to do. So I know the worm was announced a long time ago. If you had to guess, when do you think these new aliens will come out? So the sandworm probably will be released when Layer 3 is released, or the Layer system's released, in my expectation. These new aliens, when will they come out? Well, they need to finish the AI and stuff for the current human that are running around, so bear that in mind. Could we see them next year? Yeah, we could see space cows next year. Could we see an Apex product next year? Yeah, we could. If there's a focus on some teams doing like the Yeti and the Pyro crab, yeah, we could see those next year. Assuming that's what they're working on. But as they said, they're also working on Squadron 42, high-res characters, and Hair 2.0, and things like that, and mission givers. Amenity. Here are some American greenbacks for your Imperial Knights and AdMech. Knight Castellan is expensive. It is! They are expensive. Points and money-wise, but it's a monster on the board. How do you feel about 9th edition? Really excited about 9th edition. I'm looking forward to seeing all the rules for it. I am going to be having at least 3 Acastus big knight, the big Titan, the taller knights. So not like a knight Castellan, but the taller, lankier boys. I'm planning to have the Lancer, Castigor, and the other one I can never remember the name of. In my army, because I like them. I like the models, and I want to do a proper knightly household. So it's basically converted AdMech and those guys, and then a load of Dubries on horseback, which are going to be the Sybaris Riders, whatever they're called. The AdMech new riders. I love 40k. Well, I used to love 40k. Haven't played I don't think I played any 8th edition, but when they announced a new edition, and I was like, fuck it, I want to get back into 40k and start doing some stuff I enjoy doing during the days and chill out. Like, I get very stressed. I've been making videos it's like every day, at least once a day, for months and months and months and months and months, and sometimes I want a little break of, because I love making videos, don't get me wrong, and I need to be not bored. I need to be engaged with something, so I need to do something. So that's either playing games or painting or something else. And I thought 40k, I want to get back into that. Do you think we'll get player-controlled markets? So there will be player influence and player selling and buying of stuff in the game. The game is not going to be like Eve's markets, though. It's not entirely player-run. It's going to be player-influenced, and there's going to be NPCs which consume and do a lot of stuff. There's effectively, simulation-wise, there's going to be 10 NPCs at least for every human. Board needs to not be bored. Yeah, indeed. Exactly. 40k has priced me out, full stop. So I only purchase 40k stuff from websites that are like 20 to 25% off their prices, like Alchemist's Workshop or Element Games or whatever. You can get I know people buy from like AliExpress and things like that as well. Can't recommend that, but how many hours in game of gameplay do you expect it will take to earn a Banner Merchantman? We don't know yet. We don't know what that sort of thing's going to be priced at. We don't know how the economy is going to work, and the leveraging sort of like how long does it take? Well, how long does it take? If I'm working with a group getting it, it's going to be a lot quicker than if I'm working just myself, just with the starter ship. Like, that sort of stuff's going to be heavily balanced. But I do expect there will be... so they're building a trade app for 3.10, allowing you to send merits and Alpha UEC to another player. You can search for them, bam, send it to them even if they're offline. Fucking great. And eventually that will be allow you to barter, so you can literally drag like items in eventually, not in 3.10, but and then sort of like, do you want to this trade? No, sweeten the deal with this. I'm going to give you this much money. Blah, blah, blah. Cool. Eventually, I expect that to actually build into. You can have missions that players can sort of like make robust things. So a mixture of trade and service beacons. And I would also expect like potentially auction houses or other ways of players being able to sell stuff like on a trade board. What's the next capital class you think will be concepting? Hopefully an Anvil frigate or corvette. Yeah, I mean I'd be happy with like an Anvil frigate or corvette. That would be pretty cool. We could see like a drone combat ship. Something like that might be a thing. Do you like the Mercury? Do you like the Mercury Star Runner update without the round engine in the middle? Okay, I'm holding off on my opinions on the Mercury Star Runner until I actually see it a bit more developed. Can you briefly summarise the drama folks in chat have alluded to? I'm not sure what they're talking about. Is the problem. Do you think we'll see underwater gameplay anytime soon? I think we'll see swimming in the not too distant future, probably this year. But beyond that, I'm not sure if we'll see any other underwater exploration or gameplay. Are they wiping accounts anymore, BoredGamer? You can reset your account if you need to. Oh, you're talking about resetting for Alpha UEC and ship purchases. So the plan is, if possible, they will keep progress between major patches. You will sometimes still see full wipes. You will sometimes see, even when they don't do a wipe, some people won't get their stuff ported across because there's been a bug or a problem. So they're going to try and keep persistence and your progress where they can, but that's not always going to be the case. What are your thoughts on the Bounty Defender? I mean, I quite like the aesthetic of the Bounty ships, but it's not for me as a ship. I don't think it's a viable fighter compared to the Sabre at the moment, sort of thing. If they bring animals, that means that they will have more places we can breathe without the mask? Question mark. So I think they wanted to have aliens and some animals and stuff, obviously used to their atmospheres. So they might be used to that atmosphere, but you might not be. And if you capture them potentially in the future, you need a cargo container or an area where it had their atmosphere in. Betting on animal cage matches? I hope so. If they fight each other and you can capture them, players will do that if it's not in-game as an enforced thing, but players will do it. What's the name for your Banner Merchantman? Boards Bazaar? Yeah, why not? I have no idea what I'd call my Banner Merchantman. I'm off to grab pizza. I look forward to your next video. Bye. Thank you very much, Harry Johnson. I appreciate the love. Oh, you star. Is Port Olisar a permanent station or is it temporary? So Port Olisar, as far as I'm aware, is getting replaced with the new station tech. It is a legacy station. It will be replaced almost certainly once we have the cargo decks and refinery decks in game, which are coming in 3.11. So 3.11, 3.12. So I would expect it to be replaced Q3 or Q4 of this year. That's my expectation. It might still be called Port Olisar when it gets replaced. When pets are eventually realised, will you host Poke Battles? Fuck it, yes. That sounds amazing. Would you recommend the Ares Heavy Fighter? So I really like the Ares. I like the Ion because I think that a few of them could alpha strike some people in a similar way to some of the stuff I used to do in Eve. I mean, even the Inferno's cool because it's got a big Gatling gun. But they're big support ships. They're big alpha strike ships. They're not something I'd probably want to run just by itself. Running it in a fleet or to support another ship, probably pretty effective. Any new information on base building? Not really. Obviously, they're building towards iCache and full persistence and server meshing and stuff, which will most likely lead to base building being much more viable for the game. What do you think the whole Mantis footer on the subscriber newsletter means? I haven't actually seen the subscriber newsletter, I don't think. I'm a subscriber, but I don't get sent to me. It's really annoying. Often have to ask other people to send it to me. Hi, Board. I'm wondering how they're going to deal with replenishing content in the game. So they've got this dynamic quanta system that they want to put in the game, which is sort of like a universe simulation, which will sort of track and build points of interest and the likelihood that you'll find derelicts, and obviously people can salvage them eventually in the future and they'll get cleaned out, but some of these areas will be saved and people can go back, but then they'll get depleted and then new ones will appear. So it's sort of all going to be handled by this universe simulation, which works out probabilities of stuff and what's appropriate for the area. Thank you very much for becoming a BoredGamer for becoming a BoredGamer member, Luck Dragon. Very much appreciated. Oh, he's upgraded. You've upgraded from a board citizen to a BoredGamer. Thank you very much, sir. Oh, you star, Luck Dragon. Or Falcor. No, I'm sorry. I'll call you Luck Dragon. Do you think aliens will drop some kind of loot when they come into the game? Yeah, I think eventually you'll be able to hunt bits off them. Sort of makes sense to me. Any thoughts on the Santok Yai? Looks like a cool medium fighter. The Santok Yai could be flyable soon, couldn't it? That's coming in 3.10. Do you think we'll see a new consolidated Outland ship anytime soon? Haven't heard anything. Maybe they might make their mobile refinery. That's not really in the ballpark, is it? They sort of want to expand into other things. Hey, Board, is there any chance we can play with you? Yeah, at some point. Feel free to join my Discord, and eventually, one day, we will play together. I'm planning to do it semi-regularly when Zin's working for me, like at least once a week, sort of thing, and play with people online. Play with the chat. What are the major features for the flight model of the 3.10? Well, we're not 100% sure what form they will take, but there's changes to high-speed ship maneuvering. So once you're going above your SCM speeds, your ship is more vulnerable potentially in certain areas. So that might be that we don't exactly know, but it might be that you can't fire countermeasures, you can't launch missiles, you can't go into quantum, things like that. So to prevent ships constantly wanting to joust or go to these super high speeds is the idea, so that dogfights happen at these lower speeds. They're putting in some thruster efficiency curves, so the ships are going to fly quite differently in atmosphere and be much more affected by sort of like your thrusters are going to be under a lot more strain. They're effectively going to be weaker in atmosphere, and it's going to be dependent on the planet or moon in question. They're doing loads of UI updates, targeting changes, things like this. So there's actually going to be quite a lot of changes. So aiming stuff. There's going to be some rebalance of fixed weapons and things like that with ESP as well, and aiming. So there's actually quite a lot coming, but to what extent is actually going to be implemented and how good it is and stuff, we don't know yet. Watch your cattle ship video, and I'm concerned as I almost exclusively capital or very large ships. You have exclusively only capital or very large ships. Will AI blades and NPCs be able to fill out most or all of the crew? Yes. In the future, that's the current thought. You'll be able to get out NPC crew for everything if you need it. Although it still would be better to grab a couple of sort of like player officers, as it were. Seeing as a lot of these creatures will require CIG to tackle animation rigs that are more bipedal, more than bipedal, yeah, indeed. Is that likely that the $64 million pet stretch goal will be fast-tracked? So pets might be different to alien creatures in game. So what I mean by that is that pets might just be smaller things that you, like attached to armor, or you have in terrariums or stuff in your ship. So I'd love it if we had, someone said earlier, little attack dogs and stuff that could come around with us. That would be cool, but I think that's much further off. When do you think we'll get the ability to sell armor, guns, items back to vendors and kiosks in-game? After full persistence at some point. It's a little while off, but probably not too far off. So some people have been talking about maybe CIG should have built their own engine rather than use the CryEngine or the Lumberyard Engine and made it into the StarEngine. Maybe they should have built their own engine entirely from the ground up. Some people are saying they should use the Unreal Engine or the Unreal 5 engine. Unreal 5 engine, there's always going to be a newer engine. If they wait, always going to be newer engine. The Unreal 5 engine is actually pretty cool, admittedly, and does a lot of cool stuff, but nothing really uses it. The test case they show was in engine rather than a game, so bear that in mind. You can make stuff look super pretty, whatever. Although technically it was a great thing. There's definitely plus points and minus points for building your own engine. Some people will say, yeah, lightweight engine from the ground up, fit to purpose, may have been a better idea. Other people will argue the time saved potentially in using something that already exists and them just sort of like jigging it and recreating bits that they need. That works as well, but it's not something we can really compare, because Star Citizen's gone one route and we wouldn't know what was happening if they went a different route. Do you know what I mean? I'm probably going to pick up Star Citizen next month. I don't have a HOTAS and they look really expensive or crap. How viable is it using a keyboard and mouse? I only use keyboard and mouse at the moment. I do have a Virpil Constellation Delta, which I do recommend if you ever have a huge amount of money to spend on a HOTAS. But keyboard and mouse works just fine. And most players will use a keyboard and mouse. I believe. Citation needed, but I'm pretty sure. If there was a sale today, would it be today only or for the whole week? Almost certainly for the whole week, if it's a Alien Week sale. Are the banner going to be like the Frangi? I mean, a bit. Like a bit Persian-y, a bit Frangi-like. A bit caste system-y. Now, we've got no real word on the Ares heavy fighter. I mean, the Crusader pipeline's being worked on, though. So, I mean, we could see it by the end of this year if we're incredibly lucky and they're working on those ships. I can't teach you the secrets, puppy dog. I was just born this way. Best Star Citizen starting pack. So, for me, it's either the Mustang Alpha, if you want to spend as little as possible. Fantastic. But if you want to spend a little bit more, then it's the Avenger Titan. I'm going to be grabbing myself a PS5, for sure. Maybe streaming some stuff with it in the future. I really liked some of the look of some of those games. Is the cartoon Al any good? At the moment, it's not great, but expect it to be pretty cool and strafey in the future. Okay, it's gonna get into its own eventually. It's possible that we can make up our own name and put it on a ship. Yes, so named hulls, named ships, ship names that are unique to the hull, and then put on the ship that's expected. Would you recommend buying the Bounty Merchantman? If you've got the store credits or the money available, and you've like, I can't recommend people buying any ships beyond a starter package. I do recommend people buy starter package. I love Star Citizen, but you can get it all in game. If you really want a Bounty Merchantman, I do think it's a good purchase for its cost at the moment, $350. But I don't know if it's going to be going up next time it's on sale. When it's released, it will be going up a lot, I would expect. Do you think they will put things in game to validate you in a particular career, like having a licensed, registered, sort of deregistered bounty hunter? Yes, there are going to be guilds in game, and like there is going to be a bounty hunters guild, which you can be part of and get a license for. They share data with you and stuff. I'm not sure if you have to have that to be able to do bounties, but I would expect that it's likely. Don't you think we need a more reasonably sized small fighter / ship carrier, so that only ships that can carry them are capital sized? They have small quantum tanks, so transport would be great. I'm all up for more ship carriers. After watching the Squadron 42 visual trailer or teaser, there are several ships flying in there that aren't in the PU. Do you know if there are plans to move them into the full game? Yes, eventually. Should see all of those ships in some form or another in Star Citizen, in the Persistent Universe, one day. Hey, boy, we talked about that. Do you think we'll see a new consolidated Outland ship anytime soon? I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't look like a manufacturer they're really working on at the moment. Will trading be a thing between players with stuff or money or perhaps gifting? Yes. In 3.10, you're going to see the start of the financial player app stuff. So you'll be able to send money and merits to players, and then eventually that's going to get lots more functionality. Discord leaks saying 3.10 Eva Cardi today. Okay. As I said earlier, I think that's very likely. I suspected we'd see Eva Cardi for this weekend. Can't confirm though, obviously, because I don't know. I haven't seen any Eva Cardi actual posts or anything about it either, and I probably wouldn't be able to talk about them if I had. I think I'll be able to, once the Eva Cardi build's gone live, I think I'll be able to say the Eva Cardi test has now gone live. But I can't obviously talk about specifics of the Eva Cardi patches, even if they are leaked, because I'm an Eva Cardi member myself. Do you think they'll introduce underground versions of things like Black Market? Yes. There sort of are now, but there will be proper ones later. There'll be salvage yards and stuff that you can use to sell ships. There are salvage yards in game now, but you can buy sort of like less than legal or smuggly goods from them, but I'd expect you to be able to sell ships and salvage and stuff to them in the future as well. With real-life disclosure of the existence of aliens near, do you ever wonder if their depiction as villains in media in general will be looked back in portrays? Pork waffles. I'm not sure if aliens will be announced, because and they're not always portrayed as bad. Just in the action movies they are, you know. We're the bad guys. Bad guy. I watched Avatar, The Last Airbender, and it was shit. Hey, Board, when do you think we'll get physical cargo that can be stolen? They're building that towards that at the moment. Physical components, physicalized inventory, and iCache and all that sort of stuff is all building towards that.
Once cargo decks are implemented, does it seem likely that you will be able to do as well? With a small ship from station to surface as big ships from station to station or system.
Thank you very much, Jakarai. Once cargo decks are implemented, so this is the new facilities for space stations, does it seem likely that you'll be able to do as well with a small ship from station to surface as big ships from station to station or system to system? There'll certainly be a place for small ships doing smaller runs and moving from station to planet, yes. But I would expect that there'll be more profit potential in those larger ships doing those larger, longer haul cargo runs, which are more risk, more reward, and require more capital. When do you think we'll see Nautilus mining gameplay? What? Mine gameplay, as in dropping mines. They're sort of... Okay, they've been building those mines out for Squadron 42's needs, I think, as well. So probably see mines in the not-too-distant future properly, and other types of drone turrety type things. The actual Nautilus and mine sweeping, a little further off. So this is mission footage from 2019 CitizenCon, and this is some of the missions and stuff that they've been building for Microtech, or at least examples of them. And obviously this is them going to the Pyro system, which I hope we still see at the end of 2020, although more likely it's going to be early 2021 now, but we'll have to wait and see. Have you seen the Javelin interior leak video? If so, what do you think? What do you mean? I glitched into the Javelin and the Idris. There was no interior when I glitched into them. Are you sure their interior leak isn't something else? It's certainly not from Fleet Week, is it? Oh, is it something's not from Fleet Week? Okay. Nap, feel free to send me what you're talking about, and PM me it. I've seen people spawning like javelins and things and looking around them, but they're or making up what they think the interior looks like. Do you think they'll get back to gamifying hacking anytime soon? Yeah, so the UI stuff that they've been building allows them now to be able to do a lot more with hacking in the future, yeah. Expect to see that expand out. Oh, I love big stompy mechs. So, I think the most exciting thing for me in Star Citizen, sort of like concept-wise, is going to be the Titan suits. Very much looking forward to the Titan suits. Speaking of Pyro, what are your thoughts on the scaling of the solar systems, travel times, and distances that people have been discussing lately? I don't really know. Like, people have been saying what the Pyro system is significantly larger compared to the Statler system. Is that right? Sort of stuff that I think will just be balanced in game. I need to see it really and actually have tangible sort of gameplay with it to work out what I want. Do you think Xenomorphs will ever infest our ships? I think we might be attacked by them, or they might be able to get on our ships in the future. Other aliens and things, they're dangerous. That's the sort of thing that CIG will aim to do. At the moment, they have a hard time for NPCs moving between physics grids. So, with the Avenger Titan, what's the best way to earn Alpha UC? A mixture of little mini trades, technically, and bounty hunting. That's what I do. With the new racing and gambling, do you think players could rig racing? I don't know. Potentially? They'd have to have it so that it would be hard to do, or there's more loss than there is gain. Yeah, there will be mechs in Star Citizen. At least there will be sort of like more Iron Man, power loader type suits with the Titan suits. I think they want to put mechs in as well, because some of the people that worked on MechWarrior Online are now devs for Star Citizen. When will the next higher update be ready? Don't know, but they've been working on HER 2.0 for a little while. Necrons or Tau? I don't like either. Not a massive fan of either. I like the Tau's background a bit more because they're sort of like insidious greater good. Eventually you will be able to sell ships in-game, even if you've purchased them for real money. Yes, eventually. How do you think simultaneous fleet jumps or just large numbers of from either direct direction jumping through warp gates will work. So it doesn't kind of look like it was built for one at a time. It did look like that, didn't it? I think there'll be different sizes of jump point, but I do think there might be a bit of a queue. Hey Board, seen some people selling Alpha UEC, and people are currently buying it when it's going to be wiped. People have too much money. It's interesting, I actually saw that on Star Citizen Trades as well, people buying it up for like $10 for 1 million or something. I was like, that's a risky thing. Do you think we'll ever see our own solar system in-game? Yes, probably. It's possible that they might go, and we've started, and Earth's been cut off from the rest of the universe. Which is a possibility, but I expect they'd try and do the solar system if at all possible. Will there be make shakes? Yes, and they do bring all the boys to the yard as well. There's already shakes. There's already shakes in-game. I see so many videos of massive amounts of content that aren't in-game. What are these, and will they be added? They make the game seem much further along than it is. This, for example. This... I'd argue that the game is further along than this. The only thing that this really has... that the game doesn't at the moment is the jump point to Pyro. But the current game has a load more. So... When do you expect 3.10 to be released to PTU? Well, very likely Evocati build for this weekend is what we're assuming. And why do PTU? As early as end of next week? Do you think we'll have tube transport like in Futurama? No. Although I do like the idea of that. What else have we got here? The Cutlass Blue trailer had the word karaoke written in Banu. Are we getting a Banu party boat this week? I don't know. Maybe. So, as far as I'm aware, like Banu ads and Banu things like that, they sort of like use hot topic words and stuff for that ads that aren't necessarily directly related properly to their advertising. So they're a bit sort of disjointed for human minds. I think I read that in law. Sometimes when you make any account changes, it unsubs you from the sub email. You can go back and resub it. I've tried that. I've genuinely tried it. It just doesn't seem to send it to me. Any news about the face tracking webcam introduced a few years ago by Cloud Imperium? So this is from Faceware. I believe they're still working on it, and they will at some point go, and it's available to buy or pre-order. How do you think simultaneous? We talked about that already. Best small/medium ship to persuade other small ships to not attack, like the Hammerhead but smaller. A ship smaller than the Hammerhead. I mean, the Retaliator's potentially pretty good. Carrack? Probably not going to want to be fighting the Carrack unless you can overwhelm it. Will Star Citizen be on console? Maybe PS5? I wouldn't rule it out. I would think it's very possible that they could have Squadron 42 on console as well. Do we at some point going to have org funds where org members can donate to their orgs? I would expect there to be org hangers, org funds, or org bank accounts and stuff like that, yes. Is there anything on the roadmap for health-related items like diseases or mutation type pluses and minuses, or maybe implants? So the player status system will start to incorporate more and more things, buffs and debuffs. There's going to be a full medical system, but there's no specific things about diseases or mutation or viruses or whatever. Again, with implants, they've talked about implants before, and potentially augmenting your character or showing damage to your character after you've taken, like get scars and like have a bionic arm because you've been armed and blown off. Will store credit always stay store credit, or will it be rolled into UEC after beta? Good question. Don't 100% know that. I think at some point there's going to be a cutoff for it to not be used anymore, and I suspect there will be a plan for it if it's unused. So it might turn into UEC or something. Yeah. Do you think we'll have an in-game event for Alien Week? It's a possibility. I think it's less likely though. I would expect to see almost every alien ship that's on sale, though, including like Banning Merchantman and stuff like that. Maybe the Scythe in limited numbers, maybe not the Scythe, though. Pegasus, question mark. You'll see that an escort carrier at some point in the future. What type of ships would I like to see in game? Space station builders? Fuck it, why not? More construction type ship for crafting type ships, I suppose. So you can build your own potential ships, build your own, but at least fuel, ammo, armor, so you can be self-sufficient when not in near UAE space or anywhere that can outfit or reload you. What does CIG need to do in terms of tech to implement Pyro? Well, that's debatable. Some people are saying they need server meshing and stuff, but I don't think they need server meshing. They need jump points. They need... People will say that they need to be able to seamlessly transfer the data with server meshing between two servers, but I don't think they actually need that for first stage implementation. They need to build the Pyro system fully. That's the main thing. There's not that much in the way of tech that they need. Is there any updated guide on how to improve performance of the game on weaker systems? Yeah, on my website, boardgamer.co.uk, there's literally guides there for it. It should be easily discoverable at the top bar. Pork waffles. Thank you very much to this guy for subscribing, if I didn't say that earlier. Very much appreciated, sir. Got him. I know this question is probably quite redundant, but when do you think Star Citizen will be in a state which it has somewhat accomplished its goals? Also, will there be mechs? Yes, there will be mechs. When it's accomplished its goals, I mean, at least 5 years, and then it won't be all its goals. It'll be a good portion of them, I'd hope. Have they said a feature they want to implement to justify 4.0? Pyro and jump points. What time is the event starting? We don't 100% know, but I would expect it between 6 PM UTC and between 5 PM UTC. And 8 PM UTC. That's my expectation at the moment. So I keep on saying slightly different times. So at 5 PM UTC, that's when we have the narrative team on Star Citizen Live talking about Aliens and Alien Week. So could potentially start then. Exploration missions coming with Pyro? I would expect so. Lots more things to do there. Will the Banning Merchant be available in limited number? It might be limited hull. Don't think it's been limited hull before, though. Titan suit, topic, they took Titan suits out of the game. No. No. Titan suits still coming. Is upgrading ship weapons worth the gameplay loop? My 325A has always struggled. Yeah, I'd buy new weapons for it. Why not? The main thing you want to get for it if you're running it as a combat ship is change its weapons up. Do you expect once that we get Pyro in-game to see an increased cadence of new system releases? Yeah. I mean, I expect to see more and more systems in-game as the quarters roll on. I'm probably building towards the Odin system, because that's the system they've got for Squadron 42. What is the best way to go out about melting unwanted ships prior to a limited capital hull? You can either melt them or upgrade them. It depends on how much you spent on them and how much their value is now. I wouldn't go out of my way to melt ships that are worth quite a lot of money, more money than I spent on them. You see what I mean? So sort of bear that in mind. Is there any progression in waste disposal missions? You'll see some more nuance and changes and additions to those missions, some interesting bits and ways of like developing your reputation with other mission givers and things like that with them. With bounties, eventually you can get the Future Ghosts mission. Are you aware of any reason to run garbage for pennies? Not at the moment, no. But in the future, probably. A lot of the missions they've got in game at the moment are sort of like effectively legacy missions that are just there to prove concepts or to have more things to do. They are building that quanta system out. They are building the dynamic mission system and the dynamic economy, and we will start to see bits of that in the coming quarters. When I eat barbecue, I often get sauce in my beard. Do you have any advice for avoiding the problem, especially on dates? Just don't care about it. Just have on hand something to wipe your face down, like a towel or tissues or whatever, and after you've munched into it, just go fucking crazy. Then wipe yourself up. Go, I don't mind. You want to watch me eat and you go, oh, it's disgusting when he eats. Yeah, I'm fucking eating. Of course it's disgusting. Stop watching me, you weirdo. Get it in your fucking beard. Stop writing things in it. Just start writing fuck off in your beard. Backwards. No, forward, back. So they can see it. You're in charge. You're in charge. Let them know that on the date. What do you think about the invincible front bug of the Karak at the moment? I didn't realise I had an invincible front. But I haven't been running it in missions, so... Obviously, ship shield holes, and then bugs when it comes to ships and that sort of stuff will be fixed in the future. It's annoying, those sort of things. It took this long to be able to give each other money. How long do you think it will be to be able to heal another player? Well, they wanted to have stabby each other with medpen in already, so I would expect to see it this year still. Is it going to be 50 players with each Pyro and stand system? Yes, and well, it depends. Depends on how they implement and what they implement. So, without server meshing, probably, because they'll have to have it on separate servers anyway. With server meshing, then they can start to actually have more and more players in these mega mesh servers. Board said, Board, you said in the earlier video, there is no secret constellation rework. Is there any work that you are aware of that's being done to repair bugs with the Connie? They'll get light updates still. And they'll obviously get... All ships will get loved, making sure that they're balanced and not buggy. Will they add an exploration module for the Aquila? I expect to see some more modularity for ships. I mean, the Aquila is an exploration ship, though. You'll get gameplay. Do you think the price of the merchantman will rise with the sale? Yes, if they're selling the merchantman, I would expect it to go up in price. Yeah. By their standards, it's incredibly cheap compared to what it should be. Should I keep the Karak or melt it for an 890 jump? I would keep the Karak, personally. I love the 890 jump, don't get me wrong, but I see its uses as more limited than the Karak's uses. BoredGamer with the real Beard pro tips, yeah. But I don't even have that big a... I don't have a proper beard. What else have we got? What is your favourite alien ship currently in game? I mean, I like the sort of look of the Bounty Defender, maybe. Don't like it, actually, the way it runs in game. There's not that much alien in game at the moment. The Bounty Merchantman's the most like exciting concept ship for me. Oh, well, probably the Prowler in game at the moment. Actually, thinking about it, Prowler's fucking amazing. What am I even talking about? John Donovan, if you have a Mercury Star Runner, since it has ways to keep your info safe, I hope that you name yours BoredVPN or NordVPN. I'll call it NordGamer. My Mercury Star Runner will be NordGamer. Or maybe it should be super fast NordVPN for my Herald. Thanks, John. You've given me a lot to think about for marketing. Oh, Paul, thank you very much for becoming a board citizen. Very much appreciated, sir. Oh, John, you're giving me money and giving me good marketing advice. Question. Considering Star Citizen is very immersive and focuses on realism, what is the idea on justifying respawning? So it's got high fidelity and high prettiness. I wouldn't say it's super realistic. There's fun is always going to trump everything else. Fun and playability and accessibility. Then it's going to be some realism and fidelity, then realism. What event are you talking about? So we're talking about Alien Week, which should be starting in later today. Also, they justify respawning by effectively you getting picked up by someone and taken back to a hospital. Although, obviously, it does happen instantly. When are the new flight dynamics when in atmosphere going to hit? 3.10. So, potentially for the end of this month. What was your PP question? Do you have a tiny PP? What about your PP? What? It's an AMA, I suppose. Yeah, people do not want the Mercury Star on a fat. Do they? They seem to be quite grumpy about that. Do you think we'll be able to... Do you think we'll be a predator attack smaller animals? Will there be AI survival for us to witness? What? Sorry, Steve, I'm not sure if that was broken English or my brain just can't handle that question. Predators will attack smaller animals, yes. And I will certainly do a David Attenborough impression. Here we see the noble space cow. It's been eaten by a fucking Yeti. Is it going to be 50 player? We talked about that earlier. When might we see the new Glaive models go on sale? I would expect the Glaives to be updated, and I would expect to probably see the Glaive on sale this week, if there is an Alien Week sale, which we're assuming there is. Girl, don't get messy in barbecue. That ain't gonna work, man. Everyone gets messy in barbecue. Women, men, anyone. You could be entirely fucking... Is it alopecia I'm thinking of? No hair. You just have no hair on your body. It's have barbecue sauce everywhere anyway. Hi, Bored. Love the stream. You must be sick of this question. Best starter pack? Avenger Titan's probably the best starter pack in game. But you can just start with a Mustang Alpha and you'll be happy that you've saved the money. Hey, Bored, what do you think about Theaters of War aiming to be the same performance of Star Marine? I have frame drops and stuttering when there are 5+ players. I have high-end PC and all the tricks. So they're aiming for it to be significantly better than that. So just very short term, they want it so that it's not a terrible. It's not a terrible poorly performing game. So, like, there are reasons that Theatres of War is still an Evocati and hasn't gone to wider tests yet. So that they are addressing things like performance issues. Do you ever think they'll have org stations or bases in game? Yeah, there's certainly going to be people having bases, like the Pioneer will build bases. You'll have to run your org out of a big selection of these outposts and things. Will there be org space stations and space stations you can capture or potentially build? Or probably. One of the original stretch goals, or at least the goal funding stretch goal thing on the website, was player managed stations. I still think that's probably a thing they'll do in the future. I would expect for them to build the Banu, to start building the Banu Merchantman after they've got the Polaris in game. Star Citizen Live is scheduled to start in 40 minutes. I am going to dash off in a minute then and grab some Linner. So, between lunch and dinner, Linner. So that I can watch that, because I might have to do a video about Alien Week if Alien Week starts and there's sales and stuff. I'm about to boom, boom, boom. Really bored. Do you know if the Gemini's interior will be fixed up so it doesn't look so destroyed? Yes, yes. Expected to get some little reworks, at the very least. But you get a lot of ships. On the subject of Respawn, so as far as they know, they're going... On the subject of Respawn, as far as I know, they're going to implement some hospital scenario system, but you know if there's going to take time or it's instant, and 3 hours gameplay, shot 3 minutes. So, hospital stuff, there's going to be things where you've got debuffs and stuff from being killed, respawning, or being injured that you'll need to deal with at some point. You'll get like debuffs, and you'll have like wounds that you'll need treated, and that's one of the reasons you'll go to a hospital. Some other things you'll get, like the current thinking looks like that if you get knocked down and you're stunned, you can wait there while you're bleeding out. You just wait there for someone to rescue you, or you can sort of like choose to respawn. I think that's what it looks like. Hey Board, when do you think of modularity done for ships? So it's gonna be something that's done in step. For different ships, they'll add more and more modularity. I think once they have physicalized components in, and the iCache, then they'll be able to actually do ship modularity. Do you think they will structure orgs like trusts, where members can transfer ownership of assets and property to org? Probably, or at least there's going to be a permission system that we know about that will allow people to have different permissions. Thank you very much, Goblin Minion. Thank you very much for the sub. Very much appreciated. What's your recommendation for a scramble racing ship? Don't know yet, because I don't know the exact race course or the exact rules of that Grimhex racing course yet. But I suspect they probably plan for the M50 to be effective for it. Do you think with how slow they are rolling plants out, exploring career won't be able to be developed due to places being explored too fast? No. So I don't think exploration's necessarily going to be just exploring in that sort of discovering way, things like in No Man's Sky. I think it's going to be very different from that. I think it's going to cross over into science and sort of studying and points of interest and looking at areas that have already been discovered potentially, or going out onto the fringes of a star system and keep on going. I think there's going to be a lot to do with points of interest and exploration, not necessarily search all these plants and stuff. That's going to be more science-based, but just obviously touching on the same. Do you know when the hull D will be complete? No, but they are working on the prerequisites for getting the hull C in the game at the moment, and obviously they've completed the hull C for Squadron 42's needs. Will we see inflyable cities ships, or take your ships inside cities, like many small ships in Area 18? I expect that... So, they've been working on the restricted area rework, so that you can have like these flight corridors that allow you to move down into planets more closely. And they don't want these like restrictive shields preventing you from going into airspace of things. So maybe you'll be able to get closer and closer to cities in the future. They do want to like remove armistice zones and stuff like that as well. They don't want players to be able to go anywhere they want in a ship. They don't want them to be able to get into like the plazas of cities and just like hover over them directly and land there. Do you see what I mean? If you have 2 game packages on your account, will you, your player 2 be able to rescue your player 1? So we're not entirely sure how multiple game packages are going to work on your account yet. Sort of like they've talked about it years and years ago, like in 2013. I suspect stuff's changed. Expect there to be... I wouldn't expect to see any bonuses from multiple game packages on a single account at the moment. So bear that in mind to avoid disappointments, but I suspect that CIG will look into it in the future. Do you expect much else to be added to the 3.11 roadmap? Yeah, I expect to see big changes for the 3.11 roadmap. And, yeah. Is there an ETA for server meshing? They wanted to have it almost completed by the end of this year, but that was before the lockdown. So I think originally I was expecting to see it Q1 2021, but hopefully first half of 2021. Do you think we'll see another Corvette concept in the next year or so? Something to rival the Polaris? Yeah, something a bit different and not directly rival, but I suspect we could see another type of Corvette. Or frigate. What's your perspective that we still have no idea about Squadron 42 status 3 months after the roadmap was cancelled? So yeah, we're waiting to see what's going on. Obviously, we do see the monthly report still, and there's been leaks about what's happening with it, and people think that it's not overly delayed and things like that. But in the next, I would hope this month we'd see the Squadron 42 a video that they promised, and eventually we'll see a Squadron 42 roadmap again. I think we'll see Squadron 42 released in the next 12 to 18 months, to be honest. What does server meshing involve? Basically, it allows multiple servers to communicate with each other and seamlessly transfer data between them. So no loading screens and clients can move between areas without noticing they've moved server, is the idea. So that allows lots and lots of areas to be run by lots and lots of different servers. So you can have 50 players in each of these little servers or whatever, or more players. And then dynamically, eventually, that will also go, any object container can be a server. So your ship can be a server, a room can be a server, a planet can be a server. And they can all be nested in each other. Right. What do you feel of the current state of the interaction system? It's sort of in flux at the moment, where they're building this inner thought system, and they're having more tactile experience interactivity stuff. So at the moment, it's a bit of a hodgepodge and a bit of a melting pot. I'm interested to see where it's going to be going in the next couple of quarters. Right. So I missed the answer. Quantum, any idea when? You're talking about the quanta system. So it looks like they're building a lot of that quanta, that universe simulation still. They're going to keep on building it, and making it better and better and better. Eventually, you'll start to see dynamic missions and dynamic economy in the game. Hopefully by the end of this year. That's sort of like that there'll be slow iterations and additions of the quanta system that slowly phases into the game, and then you'll have like a fully dynamic economy eventually. But they need the iCache and stuff like that for it as well, and full persistence before they put it in. Right. I'm going to dash off and get some food. In half an hour, there is a Star Citizen live that's going to be on twitch.tv/Star Citizen, which will have all of the narrative team talking about Alien Week and First Contact Day and alien stuff. So have a look to see what that's going on with that. Later on today, if Alien Week is a sale and it starts today, great. I'll chuck a video up quickly explaining what's on sale, what's going on, all that sort of jazz. Hoping that Alien Week does have lots and lots of alien ships on sale. That's what it looks like it's going to be. If it's got more than that in it, absolutely fucking great. I'd love it if Xeno Threat turned up, or there's an in-game event or something like that. But yeah, thanks very much for watching. I do appreciate the hustle. Lots of people chucking money at me. Thank you very much. That is genuinely very much appreciated. Lots of people subbing and helping support the channel, even though you don't need to. It is very, 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 very much appreciated, especially with me taking on Zin potentially at the end of this month. We need to sort out a start date, actually, for her. Yeah. We are going to go and host someone else. Is the Star Citizen Countdown on for their thingy? No. Let's see, who is streaming Star Citizen? Anyone streaming Star Citizen at the moment? I suspect there will be, won't there? Well, thank you very much, Jets82. Thanks for the sub. Very much appreciated. Oh, it says I'm live. I am live. That is true. I can't follow myself. That's upsetting. Who would you like me to... We're gonna... Do you want Cyborg Angel or Moist Noodle? You want Spaz McGee? What a powerful Twitch name. He's streaming now. Okay, no, that's okay. I'm happy to have them. /raid. He said it first. Someone posted someone's name first, and I would go with that today. Thanks very much for watching. Very much appreciated. Thanks for the love. Thanks for the continued support for the channel. Really looking forward to Alien Week. Look at this. Look at this, though. Oh, look at this bad boy. Andy Serkis. Look at some of the facial tech. Some of the facial rigs. The sort of stuff we might see in the future. I think this was actually Unreal 4. But it's the sort of face rig stuff that Star Citizen could potentially be using for Vandal. Things like that. I think that's pretty cool, right? Terrifying alien boy. Look at this man. Ba-ba-bam. Big old Yeti boy. Big old crabby girl. Thanks for watching, guys. Very much appreciated. Love you loads. And I hope you enjoy Alien Week. Alien Week. Peace.